We're gonna be tying one of my favorite patterns, and this pattern happens to be the girdle bug. You can use it for bass, trout. You can do it in many different colors, many different additions to it, beads. You can add tails to it. And there again, many different colors. So you can add a twister tail. It's a very this is a base pattern. One of the first ones I learned to tie. I've been tying for 21 years, so it's a very basic pattern. For all the beginners out there maybe watching this, you always remember that whatever you're going to wrap around the hook or put on, to tie, last you want to tie it onto with the thread first. So just give you a little tip if you're a newbie. You're going to need a hook size. I prefer to use a bead head hook. It's made by Orvis, or Orvis are the ones I'm using. And it's a size 6. And you can use a 4 to 8. Doesn't really matter. 4 to 8, about this size. So once you've got the thread on from the eye to the shank, you're going to add 20 thousandths lead. And you're only going to add it to about 3/16 of an inch in total length there, because you don't want to overweight it, cause a plop in the water. A plop in the water for trout means disaster. Plop in the water, however, for smallmouth means come get me. So depending on what you're fishing for. Also, having the weight back towards the shank, it really helps with how the fly falls in the water. It'll fly with the nose, the head up in the air. And that tends to work a little nicer too. Signifies something trying to leave the water. Once you get your lead on, you are going to wrap around it. Give it some wraps with a thread to make sure that it doesn't move anywhere. And I'm a knot guy. I like to tie knots. You can loosen up the thread then, and it doesn't unwind on you. So just keep that in mind. Okay, now that we got the thread and the lead on there, we're going to add our black chenille. This is where you can do whatever color you want. Black seems to be the coolest or the best working pattern. And once I get this tied on, I usually, again, another knot. There again leaves me the room to, play with the thread a little bit. I don't usually cut a lot off. I just wrap it down. Works the same because the body's going to be over top of it. Okay, once your chenille is on, then you're going to be adding legs. You can use any different color you want. You can use any different length. I pre-cut the rubber legs when I buy them. I pre-cut them so that they're all about that length long. They're not super duper long. But you're going to go to right behind where the lead was on, and you're just going to give it one wrap around it, kind of sideways, another wrap, and then you're going to figure 8. Just going to figure 8 it, and you can reposition those legs then with that figure 8 wrap. Don't pay too much attention to exactly how they look on there right now, because you're going to be putting the chenille around. You're going to then move forward about an equal spacing and put a knot in. Again, allows you to lift the thread up without it unraveling. And you're going to tie another set of legs on. You want to go around it with real loose wrap so that you can then cinch down on it, because these rubber legs they're a little tough to get on there. I've tried putting them on there with knots, like actually tie them around the hook, put a knot in there, and it doesn't work so hot. About the only way I've found that they stay on is just figure 8ing them. Like I said, when you're first tying, it's kind of a pain in the butt, but as you get tying, you become a lot more efficient at it. And we're going to do 3 sets of legs. I've noticed that for this size of hook, 3 sets works pretty good. Then you're going to bring the thread all the way forward to where you're going to be putting the head, and just tie a knot in it. Okay, at this point your fly looks approximately like this. All the legs are they're not exactly going in the most perfect direction, but like I said, once you get the chenille on there and wrap tight, it'll be different. You can actually at this point add a little Flexament or whatever glue you end up using to each little set of legs and the thread in the center. By doing that, it'll kind of ensure that they won't move around or whatever. I mean, bass, when they hit hard, so sometimes it can ruin the fly. But you're going to put the chenille around now. You're going to start off with some wrapping. It's going to be a little thicker at the back. You're going to wrap tight up against the legs too. It's going to be a little thicker at the back just because of that lead. So once you get to where the lead's not anymore, you're going to want to put a double wrap around it, and that'll just give the body a little more thickness, so the thickness matches all the way forward. And there again, you're going to keep those legs, keep tying tight against those legs, because that's what helps give them the extra sturdiness they got. Okay. Once you're all the way forward, of course, trim your excess. And this is the way the fly is going to look then. If you notice, the legs have kind of evened all out. They're not just really helter-skelter, they're nice and straight. And you're going to tie off a head on here. It helps to hold the legs back. Make sure the head's tapered from shank of the hook to front. I use 8/0 thread, so it can tend to break pretty easy. It's a pretty small diameter thread. They actually make some 16/0 thread too. I picked up. Do a little whip finish. Add your glue then to the head. I don't cut the thread until the glue's on. And I don't cut the thread till the glue's on, just in case. You don't want that that piece that you cut to start coming out of those knots. And that is the finished product. There again, the variations, as you saw pictured earlier. There's a lot of different variations to this fly. It's a great all-around pattern. I hope those of you that tie it enjoy, and we'll catch you on the next fly.